So Capricorn, when I was doing Sagittarius reading, I got an archetype card, and then for you guys, I was like, let me just do an archetype card and see what happens. And I feel there's a stubbornness, Capricorn, right? There's this path that I feel like does not work anymore. There's something that like does not work, and you're being asked, it's like you're in a maze, right? And you get cut off, right? And there's other pathways that you can go, but you want to go down the one that's blocked. And they're telling you to go this way, but you're afraid. With the dead end coming up in reverse, you're afraid. You're afraid to turn around and go this way. But look how much nicer it is. You know what I mean? Like, the dead end is here, so you can only go this way, but you're still scared. You're still stuck here in the dead end, and they're pushing you to the forest. And what I like about the forest is that it's like you're not truly really in the forest unless you're frightened. And I like that a lot. And you're like, why would you want me to be frightened? Capricorn, you should be frightened, because I feel like there's something exciting in this forest, right? Like, yes, the forest is scary, right? There are spooky things in the forest. Same thing as, you know, where you're going. It could be a little scary, but what I'm getting is like there's actually really good shit in this forest. There's a treasure in this forest. There's fairies in the forest. There's fun in the forest, but there's also scary shit. Like, it's mixed. It's a mixed bag, and you're afraid of that other side of the bag, right? Like, you're afraid of what's hidden, right? And you're afraid of what's going to pop out at you. But I like what they said. It's like, if you're not truly in the forest unless you're actually frightened. And I love that. Like, you're not truly in the forest unless you're frightened. They want you to be scared. I think that would actually be good for you right now, Capricorn. I feel like you're here at the dead end. Like, you already know you're here at the dead end, but there's nothing scary about it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, wherever you are, there's nothing scary. Everything's really calm. Everything's just like, you know, it's mundane. That's what I'm getting with this dead end. It's mundane, it's boring, but you're safe. And the security that you feel right now is actually, it's not good, because, you know, you're not experiencing life, I feel like, to its fullest extent, because you're here. You're playing it safe. And I think it's actually super boring where you are. Like, I hate to say it like that, but I feel like it's very, very boring. Everything is anticipated, and everything that you kind of expect is here. And that's why you that's why you don't want to go here, but that's why you should go here. Because a lot of things that are unexpected might happen, and some might actually be bad, right? Some might actually not be fun. Some are actually scary, but that's the whole point. They're like, you're not truly in the forest unless you're frightened. And I really like that. Again, there's something that you're meant to experience here. I just feel like wherever you are is so boring. Like, wow, I'm getting like with the dead end versus the forest. It's like you like this experience, because again, I feel like Capricorn, I'm an earth sign too. I'm a Virgo, so I understand this desire for stability. I actually have the most thing that I have is earth placement, so I get it. And I get it. I can be in hermit mode forever. Like, it's funny because I have a lot of siblings that are earth. So, and we have like stelliums in earth, right? So 4 or more, or 3 or more. So I think one of my brothers is like 6 Capricorn, and another of my brothers has like 4 Taurus. And I have, I think, 3 Virgo. And it's really hard. But I have like Taurus in my chart. I have Capricorn in my chart. So like, it's crazy how much earth we have. And I think it's actually very difficult for us. I think like it can be a block, right? This hard earth, this energy that is very stubborn and it's very stable, but it doesn't like to move, right? It does not like to move. It likes to stay here. So if anyone could understand this dead end, it would be me. So don't feel bad about it. But yeah, you could see where it could be a block though, right? Like, you could see how being in this energy could be a block, because again, it's the craving of stability, and it's the unwanting of the unexpected, or not wanting to be frightened, not wanting to be scared, but that's exactly where they want you to go. So yeah, Capricorn, I actually loved pulling these archetypes, and yeah, I hope that this like resonates in some sort of way. Now, the message might have a lot to do with this or nothing to do with it. We'll see. So I feel like there's this part of you, Capricorn. I feel like I'm speaking to a masculine. We have the Emperor out twice, 3 times with the Chariot. So I feel like it's this masculine energy who is afraid. Like, I just see straight fear. This entire reading is just filled with fear. Fear, 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 like every card. And what's behind the fear? It's a fear of this cup. It's a fear of this emotions. I feel like in the past you might have given to a situation, it didn't necessarily work out. It destabilized you, right? And that's kind of your answer to why you don't put any work in love right now. Like, your answer to why you're not in a loving relationship, or you don't want to be in love, or you might even be with someone but you don't really love them. Like, honestly, you could be dating someone that you just don't really care about. You could just be, wanting relationships that are not very meaningful, just kind of to pass the time. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting of this person. And I'm getting that it's because you had an experience that really didn't work out. You know what I mean? With the 10 of Cups in reverse, it's like a very big loss in your life. Something that you thought would like amount to a lot didn't. And you're frustrated about it. And that's your answer to like why you're not putting effort or energy into relationships at this time. And I feel like it's really interesting because with the 6 of Pentacles in reverse, you might have felt like you used to give too much in relationships. You feel like maybe you overgive in relationships. And again, this could be just another reason why you're just like not trying to get involved with anyone. So now I feel this energy, and this is the dead end, isn't it? This is you, right? You're stable now, but you have literally like denounced every cup energy. Like, you have the Counselor in reverse, the Ace of Cups in reverse, and the 2 of Cups in reverse. So you're not stuck and you feel good about that, but wherever you are, it's not much about, it has nothing to do with love, right? So you might be like overworking, you might be someone who puts a lot of value into other things, but you're not putting anything into love, not at this point. Or again, whatever relationships you have are pretty shallow, or they're not like, there's no depth to them, because again, you don't want to go deep. Right? You don't want to go deep with all these cups in reverse. You're ignoring it, right? Anything that even the divine brings to you, I feel like they're offering you things, you're ignoring it. You don't want anything to do with it. And again, you feel like love has only trapped you in a sense. So now you ignoring love has kind of set you free in a sense, where it's like, again, I don't have to deal with those feelings. Again, I don't have to deal with pain. I don't have to deal with feelings. I don't have to deal with that type of shit. All I deal with is work. All I deal with is whatever you want to put your time into, friends, family. I don't deal with love. Like, someone who just like does not want to deal with love. And I feel like there's this balance now of energy that has to come, because again, it's like we have 4 elements, right? We have the sword, the wand, the cup, and the pentacle. And the only one that you seem to really like despise, I want to say, is the cup, right? So maybe healing needs to take place, right? To balance this out for you. But there's something here that's calling to be balanced, right? And that kind of is what happens in life when we ignore something or ignore a part of ourselves. It comes up more blatantly, right? So it's like the more you try to ignore it, the more I feel like it festers, right? It's kind of like you get a cut and you're like, oh, it'll clean itself, but it doesn't. It gets like, I don't know, it gets pus, and then it gets bacteria, it gets infected, and then then it gets worse. Right? It gets worse. Like, it could have been held, if you handled it early on, you could have just like cleaned it with some alcohol and you could have called it a day, like disinfected it the moment it came, but you didn't. I feel like you kind of let it sit there, and now that's what's going on here. It's like you let it sit there, you let it fester. That's the dead end. Right now it's this big thing. Maybe because you didn't heal, or you just were, when you only focus on one aspect, again, you're focusing on everything but love. So now that kind of comes around to bite you in the ass, and that's what I'm getting with this. Now it's like all you could think about. I think it's now it's just on your mind. It's like the more you try to ignore it, maybe you were good at ignoring it for a little bit, but you can't ignore it now. There's something you just can't ignore, you know what I mean? And it has to do with the cup. It could be a person. It could just be love in general. I feel like for a lot of you, it's just love in general. For some of you, I think it could actually be a person. We're not getting another person out here, though. We're just getting you. You're like the only person in this read. Let's see if there's anything that you're thinking about in specific. I'm getting a lot of things. I feel like some of you might have felt like someone, maybe someone did cheat on you in the past. Maybe somebody like did something dishonest, and that's what you're thinking about. Maybe you want to, I don't feel like this is you wanting to be dishonest. I feel like maybe someone was dishonest to you, and that's what you think about, right? Like you think about the injustices in love that you've experienced, and you're just like, that's why I don't want to deal with it. Again, you don't want to deal with it. You don't want to deal with it. I keep getting with this person, like, I don't want to deal with it. But it's interesting because with the 9 of coins in reverse and the 7 of coins, it's either like you're not even, I don't know if some of you I feel like aren't even single. That's the funny thing. It's like you don't deal with love, but you're not even single. So it's like, what kind of relationship are you in? Like, that's an interesting thing. Like if you're dating someone that you're not, I don't know, like, because the 9 of coins is someone who's not single. So it's like, I don't know if you just want to secretly be in a relationship, or is it actually like some of you are actually in a relationship, but it has nothing to do with love. It maybe has to do with like money, it has to do with sex, it has to do with communication, but it has nothing to do with love. Again, you're not in love. Like you're not dealing with love. You have pushed it away. So any kind of relationship you have right now in your life, you're not really dealing with love. You're dealing with, like, again, a work relationship, a friend relationship, a sex relationship, but you're not dealing with love, right? This is like a Capricorn who's really like, no, I'm not dealing with this shit. I don't want to. I don't want to be in a relationship. You know what I mean? But it's interesting is like some of you are actually in a relationship, and some of you, again, have been cheated on, and that's why you don't want to be on one. Again, there's a lot of like issues here, right? As to like why you don't want to be with someone. Something failed and it really hurt you. That's what I'm getting. Like something did not work out and it really hurt you, but you're at this dead end. Like I still keep getting this dead end. Yeah. And it's all fear. It's all fear. What's keeping you here is fear. Fear that whatever happens to you in the past is going to happen again. Fear that you're going to give someone emotion and they're not going to give it back. I don't know if you're afraid that someone's not going to reciprocate how you feel to them. But I just get a lot of fear, Capricorn, a lot of fear. And I think it's time for you to heal. I think that that's what they're asking you to do with the Hermit at the end of this. I feel like they're asking you to heal because you're not happy where you are. Again, you might not have people that are like tricking you. You might not have people that are deceiving you. You're not tied to anyone, so you can't get hurt, but you're not happy. So it's kind of like you have a choice to make, and you can like continue in this dead end, or you can go forward into a new direction. And I feel like the direction they want you to go into is obviously like the forest. Again, the forest will be good and bad. The forest with the light and the dark, the forest is not going to be just fairies and like friends. It's going to be like the bad and the dark too. That's the part of the forest, right? But you have to embrace that. And I feel like that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to embrace the dark. You don't want to embrace, again, this had something to do with someone else's reading where it's like they didn't want to embrace the dark side of a person. They just, it's like when you put someone in a pedestal in your mind, it's like this person can do no wrong. The person does a mistake and then you're like, oh my God, this person hurt me. This person is like the worst person in the world. Again, there could have been someone who did something really bad for you, but I just feel like bad to you, and that's the person you're thinking about. But I feel like for others of you, it's just someone didn't amount to what you thought they could be, like to what you wanted them to be. And I feel like maybe even an unfairness in like writing love off because one situation didn't work, or like, it's like saying like everybody's bad. It's like saying like all Americans are all bad, right? But like not knowing every single American, right? It's like justifying the many for the one, right? So it's like one person hurt you, now everyone's gonna hurt you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the dead end. Again, that's the dead end. Like that doesn't work. You know what I mean? It does not work. The dead end is a dead end, right? You can't keep going in that direction. You have to turn around. And they're telling you it's going to be good and bad, right? Like the forest is not perfect, but the forest is an adventure. And I feel like that's where you're meant to be going. You're meant to be going in that direction. Maybe a lot of you guys have already healed, because I feel like the Hermit, I feel like there's like jumps. So I feel like we go from this person who's like very, very frustrated in love to someone who decides to maybe go into Hermit mode to someone who heals. Yeah, there's a balancing of energy, right? With Temperance. I still feel like you'll always have that part of you that fears it, right? Like that fears it, but you have to fight that. Again, you have to delve into the uncomfortable. It's not supposed to be comfortable. You know what I mean? Like it's not supposed to be something that it's going to happen. It might be unpredictable. It might be uncomfortable. Again, like you're not going to find any joy here. You have to go here, right? It's like that comfort zone thing. It's like your comfort zone is here and the magic happens here, right? It's kind of like that. But it's going to take work. It's going to take healing. It's going to take time. But I think you're going to get there. I mean, you can just throw yourself here, you know, and see what happens. Which I feel like they're trying to let you know, like, it's frightening, but it's meant to be scary. So it's basically like, are you ready? As I feel like they're just calling you to the forest. There's nowhere to go anyway, you know? So it's like, you have to go here, but like, it's like, are you gonna go? Like, you've been here for a really long time. Are you gonna go? Maybe you haven't been in a meaningful relationship in a really long time. Are you ready to have one now? Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what you're gonna find in the forest. And I think you know that. So it's interesting. Let's see if there's any advice for you, Capricorn. So Capricorn, you have skunk spirit, know your worth. Number 54. I feel like this maybe was an issue in the past, and like knowing your actual value. And maybe for love, you put others in front of you, and that's kind of why you're scared of love, because you always put others in front of you and people don't do that for you. There's like no reciprocity. So I feel like that's for some of you where, again, there's no balance here. There's no reciprocity. And I feel like once you sense that, you should sense that in a partner beforehand, but even, it doesn't matter when you know it. When you know it is when you're meant to leave, right? And I feel like that's something that you have to take into the forest, knowing the value that you give to a relationship and understanding that, so that you pick, you know, healthy partners. And I also feel like there's something so funny here, because we have outer spirit, you're never alone. I don't know if you're already connected to someone. I usually get this when there's like a soulmate. Maybe you're headed towards a soulmate. Again, I think that's what's in the forest that you're afraid of, right? And I think the lesson that you need to take from this is like that you give a lot to a relationship, and you want to find reciprocity, and that you will find reciprocity in the forest. Again, you have to know your worth so that you can tell who's like a snake and who's not. Who's gonna maybe not be a snake, but someone who's just not gonna give you the same amount that you give them. Do you know what I'm saying? And honestly, I feel like you have to be careful, because I feel like things are disguised. I don't know what I'm getting, like a disguise. Like, things may not be what they seem in the forest. You always have to like be careful. And that's what I'm getting with know your worth. Like, you've learned a lot of lessons and you're headed to something so much better. I feel like you're headed towards a soulmate. You're just stopping here, right? Like, you're here right now at the dead end. You know that you're supposed to go here. You know that you're gonna meet love here. You know that someone's here, so you're just afraid. You're like afraid to head to someone, you know what I mean? Because that's what this forest is, basically. It's back to the cup energy, I would want to say, and you're afraid to go into it. And it's really cute, but at the same time, like, there's nowhere to go. So you're headed in here, and I would say just know your worth. Make sure you find someone who knows what your worth is and who tries to show it to you. Again, people are going to fall short. That is a part of the forest. People are not perfect in the forest, but there is adventure in the forest. There's love in the forest for you. So yeah, Capricorn, I hope that this helps. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.